Such a beautiful day to be alive. Welcome to Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Jadiel, Kabiro. Always a pleasure to have you for these political conversations. I'm joined by the one and only Herman Manyora. Sir, how are you doing? New week starting off for you.
I'm well. Beautifully so.
It's nominations, conversation and nominations. We've had them severally, but look, things are getting difficult for Raila in the Azimio team. You remember in Bungoma, they are saying that they need to put some selective seats for ODM and not leave others for the general for the general umbrella of Azimio. This conversation has gotten even in the central part of the country. Can Raila be able to deal with this headache? We've had these conversations. Can he?
I don't think it's Raila. Neither do I think it's Ruto. It will affect both Ruto and Raila. In other words, how are they going to handle the nomination? I don't have answers, but I have only one suggestion. Big thinking should go into it. If you don't give it big thinking, if you just think it will walk away, you will walk away empty-handed.
From the regions?
Because the problem will not walk away. It's you who will walk away empty-handed.
When you look at the way they're talking, when you listen to some delegates from ODM, the way they are talking, can this be used to cause harm by people inside the party? Let's say someone like Jimmy Wanjigi who wants to become president. Can he use this as an avenue to create division in the party? Because it seems like it's a deliberate move when they come out and speak the way they are.
No, you see, the ship left Jimmy Wanjigi at the port and the sail off.
Huh?
Jimmy Wanjigi ako kwa stage ya matatu lijaa ikaenda. Once Raila came up with Azimio, he had pulled the rug from under Jimmy Wanjigi.
That's it.
Simple like that. Raila is a political genius. I keep telling people, you know, to manage Raila is not a small matter. With a stroke, just a stroke, Azimio la umoja, Jimmy Wanjigi was left hanging. Gari meenda choke.
Yeah, I had some guy from I think some part of Mount Kenya saying that it is not good the way Jimmy Wanjigi is being secluded from the conversation in ODM and the Azimio, but it's not good for the Mount Kenya region.
Jimmy Wanjigi came to take on Raila head on. His intention was not even to win, because he knew how can you win against Raila? How? You know, it's not possible. It's like saying you can take the Wiper ticket from Kalonzo. You can't. This is Kenya. You can't take UDA. Supposing Manyora says now he wants to take on Ruto and UDA. Will I succeed?
No.
You can't. No, so Jimmy Wanjigi is not a fool. He knows you can't beat Raila in ODM. I think the strategy was to spoil for Raila. To make Raila come out as a bad person. Very undemocratic. And Raila saw it. By coming up with a bigger thing, he left Jimmy Wanjigi trying to wrestle with an irrelevant thing. Because it's no longer ODM.
But what benefit, though, if you say that, what benefit is it to Jimmy Wanjigi trying to make Raila look undemocratic?
But you see, Jimmy Wanjigi is a politician. He has become a politician. He has his eyes on the president. He's not a fool. He knows it can be 2022. For Jimmy Wanjigi, he knows it's 2022, 2027, 2032. And this is a part of the games he's playing, part of the strategy, but it has backfired. He wanted people to see him coming out as a man wronged by Raila, whom he had helped. So, you get sympathy of the community from the Kikuyu, and he also soiled Raila's name. Now, you wouldn't mind if Raila wouldn't be president. If somebody else became president, it will be even easier for you to take over from that person. Because Raila is coming up with a long-term strategy and infrastructure for that. Raila is not becoming president in 2022 and then stop there. He's part of a strategy that will produce the occupants of State House for several electoral circles. You get it? And Jimmy Wanjigi is not a fool. He knows that.
So he's just putting his name out.
Yes, that's what if it's Raila, you can count yourself out of contention for many years to come, until you are even too old. But maybe with somebody else, even Ruto, the Kikuyus will have seen 5 years who Ruto is. They will see. I'm telling you, if Ruto were to win, Jimmy Wanjigi knows the Kikuyus would have seen who Ruto is in true colors. And therefore, him coming up in 2027 will be a walkover, a walk in the park.
If he has already created.
But now ODM has denied him that.
Let's get back now to nominations.
Yes.
What would you expect from the current nomination process that is ongoing in these two parties? What do you expect to see from Raila's camp to show that Raila is managing his camp well?
I expect to see Raila sitting down with a team of experts to advise him correctly, to understand the situation on the ground, the political map of this country, to see the hot areas, like you mentioned, Bungoma, where there is a question of DAP and ODM, both in Azimio and Kakamega, and even in Vihiga. Same as Nairobi, you see, there is the governor for Ngatia, governor for Timu Wanyonyi, governor, commander, senator, Sifuna senator. Yeah. All these hot areas, including Mombasa, Nasiri and the other guy. Identify the hot areas, fit them within a plan or within a strategy, brainstorm, and then invite the politicians and share with them the thinking and let them buy into the idea. If you don't do that, you will be, and I've said this now many times, that if you don't deal with that problem, you think it will just disappear. You will disappear. You will give Ruto, because let me tell you this. When I look at this election, I see more strategy coming from the Ruto side in terms of parliamentary election than this other side, unless they are careful. They have to be careful so that they do not lose seats unnecessarily the way NASA lost in 2017. Because if Ruto were to get the numbers in parliament, he will give them a hard time.
You said that he can even impeach Raila. You said that.
Yes. So they have to be very careful. I have no answers. All I know, you need to get intelligent human beings, men and women with a brain, and sit with them and discuss this thing. Look at it critically. Not the usual people surrounding politicians. Raila will be surrounded by people. Ruto will be surrounded by people. When I look at them, some of them I work with, I just say now.
The people that are surrounding them are the people messing them up.
I know them. Most of these guys are just empty.
And that's the
but they know how to talk.
But when you
they know how to go next to people. When I see from far, because me, I'm not good enough. I'm not talented in moving next to leaders. But there are people with nice tongue. They know how to talk. When they talk, Raila says, this is now, this is an expert. Let's go to Ruto. When I look from far, the ones I know, I just laugh. Those can't help you.
Which one will come first? Losing your votes on the ground or losing parliamentary seats?
They go hand in hand sometimes. When you antagonize people sometimes so much, it has a bearing on the presidential vote. Yeah. It has a bearing, for example, in areas like Nyanza, they call it Luo Nyanza, where generally once you have the ODM ticket, you have won.
I've heard people say they vote ODM.
Yes. So now, in situations like that, you may think it is easy to just give anybody one, but it could affect turnout. People say, okay, fine. They can't fight you because you have chosen Oburu Odinga over anybody else for Senate. They can't fight you. You have the power. You have chosen Orengo instead of Kinagumbo. And okay, since you have the power, they can't fight you. But the turnout that would have been 95 in Siaya becomes 80. And we need or 82. You have lost a very big margin. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So the nominations have to be handled with care. And you cannot handle these nominations with care until you have intelligent men and women sitting and looking at this thing critically. In a room, I normally tell people, you need to go to a room to discuss things until some people walk out. The level of thinking required. Some people will get headache and walk out. Or they just keep quiet. They can't talk. But the level of thinking in that room, the heat in that room, they can't bear. They just walk out. And the next day you are 20, next day you are 7.
Until you get...
The third day you are just 3 people on the table. Because they can't think at that level. That's the kind of thinking I'm talking about.
Do you think Raila is now already, we've talked about turnout, and I remember his rally in Migori, the message there was turnout.
Yes,
they need the number. Do you think he feels like people will not vote as they've been voting for him this time round?
It's normal. Every politician will be concerned about the registration of voters and turnout. So it's just a normal thing. But what I'm saying is, do not antagonize people unnecessarily. Don't make nominations affect the turnout in your stronghold. Think out, and I'm not saying no, somebody should not be allowed to run. But let it be a product of serious thinking and negotiation and discussion.
So you'd prefer negotiated kind of...
No, first you think. It must start with thinking. Think number one, think number two, think number three. Then you come up with a strategy. Then sell that idea or those ideas to the people who are affected, those who are contesting. Talk to them. Let them buy into the idea. Let them move with you. Sometimes we think people are difficult. They may not be difficult. It's just we don't talk to them. Sometimes we talk to them or talk at them. Sometimes we don't even give them facts. By giving them facts and by making them look at the bigger picture. Human beings are reasonable people, but we think they are not. So we think we can only bulldoze.
So it's just about...
Let bulldozing, if it must happen, let it be the last resort. Yes.
Okay, when you look now at the other side, when looking at Azimio, Kalonzo Musyoka seemingly going towards Azimio right now, it's also going to cause the same headache, the position they are going to put him, where he'll be nominated within the team. How can Raila deal now with that? Is it also about just thinking Kalonzo a principal coming to Azimio?
Lucky for Raila, when it comes to Kalonzo, there is not much ODM interest in Ukambani. We only saw Taita and Mombasa, where there was some form of conflict, and a bit of Kisii. But even in Kisii, those who took over, there are people who took over having been short-changed the nominations of ODM. Then one of them went to Wiper, maybe another one Fort Kenya, like Onyonka. So the only conflict area of conflict that I saw was Mombasa and Taita Taveta. I may forget one or two others. And Nairobi, Embakasi, did south, or the place of Sumra and that other guy. There's not so much with Wiper. The conflict is in DAP and ODM in Western, for example, and in Nairobi. Those are some of the hot areas you must look at. So UDA also has its own hot places. Nairobi is also a headache to UDA. And some parts of Central, like Kirinyaga, now that one has been solved somehow, and Kakamega, they will... See, these guys I'm seeing, Khalwale and Malala can agree on something.
You said...
Once they agree on something, they transfer the problem to Azimio. Will Azimio also agree on something?
And that's the game they're playing.
I've already seen some very good, one of them is actually a colleague of mine in Lurambi. He was the ODM candidate. He has been shortchanged because of defections. Now, I don't know, I've not confirmed. He has gone to NC. You see, they have lost a very serious candidate. A certain professor friend of mine. You see? It must start now. And I'm repeating this thing for both Raila and Ruto. If you wait, with the new law, itakukula. This new law is bad.
Because they have to do things in a very timely manner.
The speed at which even to be an independent candidate after this, after nominations, is also not a job. So you have 2 weeks. You come up with a list of 1,000 supporters, you discover, you must get the list now. You must begin getting now. Weka kwa mfuko. 1,000 supporters. But by the time you hand over to IEBC, some of them have already been recruited into political parties. So they don't qualify to be, perhaps, I'm not very sure.
So Nimbio.
Nimbio na sio rahisi sana. So this is something that must be handled immediately. And I'm not seeing that seriousness, at least not on the Azimio side.
Okay. Finally, let me ask you this. Let me do the show justice by asking, Kalonzo Musyoka now, leaders from the eastern region, Charity Ngilu, Mutua and Kibudha Kibwana coming up together to support Azimio, working together. Is Kalonzo's kingship now challenged in the eastern region?
It's never easy. I've told people, I was even, I think, with Mutua one day on a TV show. I've told them, it's not easy. To replace Kalonzo as the kingpin, it's not easy. It's not something you just wish away. You can't. It's not easy. You can, but it's not easy.
Kalonzo is strong.
It's like saying you can replace William Ruto from Rift Valley, or Raila from Nyanza, or Uhuru from... It's not an easy thing. Why can't Kimani Ichung'wah remove Raila?
So Azimio said should not that celebrate that they have...
No, the better thing for them to do is to bring on board Kalonzo. To augment what is going on. So if you have Kalonzo, now with the other governors there, it's game shot.
Ndio wanasema it's locked.
It's locked. But to say you can wish Kalonzo away, that is a little reckless.
Okay, let's wind the conversation there. Thank you so much for tuning in into today's political conversation. Always a pleasure to to have you for this discussions. Business Glide coming in with Richard Mwanje, Simon Rungu, the big question, Marcel Mudo going out on the streets to get your public opinion. And remember, if you haven't visited nairobireview.africa, I don't know which website you're reading news from, because that's the only website in the country that gives you credibility. And we'll have these conversations again. Thank you so much. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.